All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the final episode of Maniac. So this is episode 10. It's called Option C. Full spoilers ahead if you haven't seen the episode. So let's just talk about really quickly. People are already saying that will there be a season 2? And I think that's just something that people say now, like there's always got to be more. There's always got to be more. We can't just let something be what it is and let it go. Same thing with like True Detective, where they said, it's going to be this ongoing thing. And honestly, because of season 2, I kind of wish they hadn't done, we just left it with season 1, just had it be one story. I know they're making like an anthology and there is a season 3 of that coming out. But season 1 was so good, it really didn't need a season 2 if they weren't going to be able to carry on, at that same kind of level. And you lost the director, who was the director of this. That's just an example. I'm not saying anything against new seasons of stuff, but being a limited series and the story ending the way it does, we don't need a season 2. Sometimes open endings are just for your imagination. And I don't always agree with that either, especially how they do the open endings. But I think this ending, that's it. We don't need any more. So there's that. So I was saying that this show was going to go one of two ways. Either we're going to get a straightforward, or we're going to get some kind of crazy, trippy, switcheroo or something at the end of this. And part of it really led you down that path. It wanted to make you still feel kind of paranoid and looking over your shoulder and questioning things that you saw. And I liked that. But then we did just get a straightforward story. Now, I think maybe the reason people are asking for a season 2 or wondering if there will be a season 2 is because things kind of get resolved pretty normally. Like for a show, like everything just kind of ends in kind of to say kind of cliche. Everything kind of gets wrapped up neatly. And I think people probably were expecting more of that. I think people were probably expecting there to be a twist, and that if there were a season 2, we would get that twist. But I think, again, the way it is, it's still perfect. So yes, it is pretty straightforward. And, they wake up and James is like, you're alive. Like, holy shit, you guys are alive. And it was a complete success. Saying nothing about how the computer is gone. And I like how the other subjects are like, they're looking at us like we're cattle in a slaughterhouse. and that's Alice Beasley's character goes, fuck the evens. It's kind of funny. And so James and Fujita and Gerda all end up in front of the magic TV. It's kind of weird, right? Like, again, we don't get to know who's on the other end of that TV. Why does it look like that? Is it like, it's just one of those weird things in shows like this, or like Legion, that give you something bizarre to look at, and you just have to accept it. That in this world, that is perfectly normal to be having a discussion with a TV that has nobody really there, just transmitting waves and a voice that's telling them that they're really stupid and they ruined everything. I love Sally Field being like, you can call these idiots whatever you want, but you can't call me that bad. Like, I love it. She's still like, I'm known, man. I am nationally, globally recognized, okay? So watch it. I love it. And it does give the TV man pause. Like, he can push around these people, but they can't. And I love how also Sally Field, like, kind of trying to protect her son, she throws him right under the bus. She is trying to be what she thinks is best for him. Which is, and I think it's true, because his whole purpose of this, like in the last episode, she said, why the mind? and all the things you could do. Why the mind? And it's all just because his mommy issues. This whole thing was started for him with mommy issues and trying to prove his mother wrong. So he really shouldn't be involved in this. He's already got those other people that were McMurphy'd, and they were on the cusp of losing it again and having a whole bunch of other people gone, all for the sake of fixing billions of people, which, yes, in theory, that is a really noble idea. But like when Fujita was basically like, fuck those 6 people, like for the sake of billions. But the thing is you can't trust an AI. Like I've said in the other episodes, and if this was going to give me a twist, I would feel like maybe I have to go back on that. But what movie, okay, ever has AI, besides the movie AI, okay, not had the AI go completely bananas and try to kill us all? So, again, I still say this is another cautionary tale of don't give AI emotions and things like that, you know? So, they say that, okay, and here's maybe another thing about the whole personal problem, that maybe why people also would say there's a season 2 is because the TV voice says that you guys could help me with your idiocy on the project, could help me with a more personal problem. And we never find out what that is. But again, I don't know if we need to know. If we get more and it's with the same director and the same cast and the same everything, then I'm good to go with that. As long as they can naturally, organically get me, make me believe that this story needs to continue. Not just a cash grab, not just some fucking reason that, oh, we made something great, let's try to do it again reason. So they get into the elevator. I love that. Well, first, Owen and Andy, are about to go their separate ways. And this is a little cliche, but it's how they deal with it, how it's done that's different, and I liked it, and it made me sad, was he going after her and telling her, showing that he's, it shows that his character is trying to get better, and that I'm not going to follow you around, I'm not going to be a stalker, I'm not going to try to make more of this than what it was. I have a history of doing this kind of thing, and I just want you to know I'm not going to bother you. And she's like, well, I didn't think of that of you. But they both kind of agree, like, well, she's like, fine, then go. Instead of saying, don't leave me. I need you. She's still locked up. And he's too... He's not brave enough at this point to just say, I need you too. And then I'll try not to, here's my situation, and I don't want to leave you, but I don't want to freak you out. And so they end up going their separate ways. And it was sad, but, you look at the clock and how much time is left, that, and by the description of the episode, that they are going to see each other again. And then you have James and Fujita in the elevator where they make up and they make out, and one of like the more over the top kissing scenes, like they're just like a couple of like suckers, like on each other, and they get off the elevator. She knows how to drive, and he's really impressed with that. I love how he's trying to fix his little wig. It's still kind of all over the place. His hair is fucking great. And as soon as I saw the Volvo, I went, oh fuck. Like, oh, what's going on here? And then I saw her car, and it's the car with the flames on it that was in Owen's fantasy, so the Mafia one, and the Volvo was in the one where they were married. And I was like, how did the computer know this? Like, that maybe it would... It scanned Gertie's mind, but Gertie and James aren't, together. You know what I mean? Like, they're not close. So it wouldn't have that. How would Gertie, real life Sally Field know what cars they drove? Unless somehow they programmed that into the computer, that it's memory. It's like if the computer asked, what kind of cars do you guys drive or something? That it would be in there. And that made me go, oh shit, it's their fantasy. They're in the computer or something. I started to go, oh no. Like I was literally like, what? But they get in the car and they drive away, and we cut to Annie and Owen going to their respective places, seeing that, you know, in Annie's case, life just goes on, mail piles up, nobody cares. Owen comes home to an empty apartment, and he starts writing a letter. And he goes to like near the Hudson River, I would assume it is, where his mother comes, and she starts putting this idea that, have you been approached by strangers? Have people been putting ideas in your head? Things like the people you can hire as friends and stuff kind of situation. Somebody there to like try to manipulate you. And again, creating that paranoia for us. Okay? That's what, I mean, it's supposed to create a little paranoia for him, but it's supposed to make us start second guessing everything. Like, oh God, was Emma Stone a plant? Was he not crazy all along? Was the girl that he was yelling at all those years ago, was she hired by somebody to fuck with him? And again, if they continue this story, who knows what's going on? Maybe, you know, but it feels so earnest that I don't think that's the case. But he says that he won't, you know, mess up the trial, which, you know, you're hoping to God he does. So they get to the court case, and they're in the like prep room, you know, and freaking they're all going nuts, and he's telling them, look, I'm not gonna, you know, mess it up for you. And his brother Jed, you know, putting on some tears because these are real tears, man. And it's like, yeah, because you're afraid you're about to get fucked. You know, you're going to jail, you scumbag. He calls himself a monster. He says this. He admits it. He knows what he is. But he still is afraid to, you know, admit to what he did wrong and face the reality. And when they're in the case, and Owen is completely backing up his story and saying, you know, he was over at my house and giving these details, and he's very monotone. That's how long it takes for me to beat him at risk. One thing, okay, if they have the video of him, and it's clearly him, other than they have to prove that he's lying, which is easy by just showing him the video. Okay, they get his statement. If they have the video, what do they need him to prove at all? Why would they even need him on the stand except to disprove his story, you know, force him to be a perjurer, you know? If they had this, they should, I'd be like, we don't need to talk to this guy. Our video will show us just fine. But I think dramatically maybe they needed to do it so that he would have his moment to tell on his brother, which I love that, you know, after they show the video of, it's like, oh man, and of course he's like this in the video, like, yeah, I just did that. And it's such a scumbag. He's so good at playing scumbags, man. And again, like I said, Billy Magnuson, if you're out there, if you ever see this, try to get some, you know, like you did some amazing work in here, but stop playing assholes. Okay? Wasn't he in Game Night too? I can't remember. He was pretty good in that, I think. And he wasn't an asshole. But he does confess. Obviously, it's him. Look, it's clearly him. And Billy loses it and tells him he's going to kill him and all that shit. And that's it for that part of the story. The relief on his fiance's face that somebody is confessing and not, you know, she's too afraid of this guy to walk away from the relationship because he'd probably kill her. And that's probably why she can't walk away. And now she can, at least, just get away from this monster that did whatever he did to her. And I know this is kind of like out of the blue, what I'm about to say, but something that I wanted to say about last episode, and I know I'll get right back to this review because I'm mad that I forgot to mention it, is when Jonah Hill's Snorri was at the NATO table. And after he's told everybody how he's guilty and he's so sorry, and he's saying sorry to each nation one in a row, and then he stops because he can't see who the other people are, and he's like leaning over all quietly. Who are you? Oh, sorry you. The fact that that's if that's unscripted, I don't know, but it was just a great little detail that I forgot to mention. I just loved it. So anyway, I think the court case part made me remember this. So anyway, back to the show. So Annie goes home, back to her dad, and sees that nobody's in the house, and she goes out there. And this speech again, Emma Stone and Jonah Hill. Please tell me they gotta get nominated. They gotta get nominated for Best Actor in like a miniseries, something like that. I think that's how they can win it. All right, don't call it like Best Actors in a Drama, Best Actors in a Miniseries. I think they got it locked up. Because this speech that she gave really hit me. I almost cried. I don't cry at TV. I can get a little misty, like, where you're like, oh man. This story about how the wrong daughter died and all this stuff, it was just so fantastic and just cut me right to the core. And just made me feel, again, to make it a little personal, I mean, it's just like sometimes how you feel about your family and how's your family view you and stuff and all that. But it turns out her dad's not in the A-Void. He's behind her, and that her leaving, him thinking she was going to Salt Lake City really wakes him up. And fearing that he's now lost everybody, he comes out of it. And they in a Tankas area, which is really unexpected, but great. And they have this, great conversation, that he doesn't think that the wrong daughter died, that kind of thing. Like, he doesn't think that way. He does kind of still feel, you can still feel the, how much he misses Ellie, because he wants to know what she was like in the computer, even though it's not real. So you can still feel that he's still he's not where she's at. And she needs him to know that she's not okay. And she needs a dad. And not one that's hiding from the world. She needs him to step up. They might have had a nutty mom that couldn't handle having a family, but she needs her dad now. And this is where we get, where we see she and him, like, he's seeing a therapist and he's talking about his options and like, why hasn't he gone after her? And he's talking about option A, that she wasn't real, that none of it was real, the drug trial wasn't real. And he gets to option B, which really freaks him out and why he can't go. And we get to see her side of it and how she's telling him that she, needs him. And it turns out that she's hired one of those the people that you hire to be your friend, to give this speech, and he's supposed to go with her to Salt Lake City, this fake friend, until she sees the newspaper that says it's from the court case and has Owen's face, and she realizes he's been committed and gets in the truck and leaves the fake friend who was going to propose, which was pretty funny. This little tiny part that this guy had in this just one little scene, it was pretty funny. So she takes off, gets to the place, and pretends to be Linda, was her name right or something, from the 80s fantasy, to go visit him. And they sit down, and he's very uncomfortable. He's doesn't want to, he can't. He's not where she's at now. It's kind of reversed, but the conversation they have where it doesn't work for me. What you're doing doesn't work for me. Kind of like trying to tell him, this is, your friendship means something to me. I need you in my life. Where you're at, where you've been committed and all this crap, it doesn't work for me. Saying, I'm not letting you go. Your family may be screwing you because of, you're not going with what they want, but I'm your friend and I'm here and we're getting out of here. And this is where he tells her about option B, that, he ruins things, relationships. Eventually he just blows them up. And again, it's something that, I feel connected to that. It really hits me. This whole thing has been hitting me from like all different sides. That, I sometimes have a history of messing things up that are perfectly good because I get too freaked out. Happens all the time, and it's something, it's hard to deal with. And that's what he has to deal with here. And the fact that she's finally able to convince him to follow her into the bathroom, And he has that moment where he's in a fugue, and I was like, oh shit, when he goes, why are you, like, why are you doing this? Or something, like, it looked like for a second, he like had a brain fart and and was like, not like, kind of like in a loop. But thankfully that wasn't it. The way he said it just made it kind of freak me out for a second. And she's like, this is what friends do. We're getting out of here. And, they slip out, they get out, and again, like, get the car moving, man. Like, I was like, Jesus, get the car moving. As I still, like, till the very last second was worried how this was going to end. And they drive off into the sunset. And I love it. I love that it wasn't some twist. It wasn't some crazy mental mind fuck at the end. It was just a straightforward ending where two people that need each other, now they're going to Salt Lake City. They're making the trip. A couple of crazy kids, kind of crazy kids. I love it. She's like, yeah, a lot of people see things. People see ghosts. People see all sorts of stuff. You're just kind of crazy. And they both are. They're both kind of crazy. But they're not dangerous crazy, really. He needs to be on meds, but they drive off and and that's just the way to end it. It doesn't quite end there, because there's something going on in TV where shows that you wouldn't think would have a, hidden ending, have a hidden ending, like frickin' Castle Rock did, and other shows that are just like, have these little things in the middle, like everything's a Marvel movie now. But they have the little thing where you see James and Fujita driving to Newfoundland, talking about that. Just, you don't even see the actors, you hear some voiceover as they're heading up. Speaking of which, yeah, Sally Field kind of tells him, like, he thinks they've kind of had a breakthrough maybe with the mother-son relationship, and she's like, well, yeah, no, but I'm leaving the country and I won't see you, like, and she was about to say, I think, ever, but I don't think that's it's not important, really. I mean, in the long run, it's important to that character, but not to the main story. And then they pass Annie and Owen going the other direction, and him talking about, like, do we even really know each other and all this stuff, and it ends, like, hey, we're good, man. Take it a day at a time, and that's about it. Except then you see the hawk on top of the little robot poop collector, and a dog come walking up, and it does the little kind of fairy tale, circle, close out, the end. So I thank you, everybody, for watching these. Anybody that does, I really appreciate it. Thanks for taking this journey with me. It's been such a fantastic show. I will have to watch this again on, like, my own terms a little bit, because I think there's a lot to rewatch and re-see and take in a lot more. So that's about it. I mean, fantastic show. If this is, like, I hope this gets into, like, the mini-series competition for the Emmys, for directing, for writing, for acting. This should clear up in that area. So anyway, I feel like I need to talk more, but I don't. It's just like, it's great the way it is. I have new respect for these two as actors, and the director. Good God, I can't wait to see what he does next. So anyway, if you liked this video, please hit the like button, comment, share, subscribe, hit the bell for all notifications. We got tons of more stuff on my channel. Look at all my playlists. I got a ton of things on there. I will be going back to doing The Expanse season 2. We got Orphan Black still. I've been doing all this other stuff, so some of my other shows kind of get put on the back burner. So we'll be getting back to some normal stuff pretty soon. But then next week, I'll be on vacation, so expect a ton of new content. A ton. I'm not fucking around. So I will be watching and reviewing tons of things next week. And the kicker will be starting next Friday. The Man in the High Castle Season 3 comes out. So we will be doing an episode-to-episode review of that as well. So anyway, that's it. Maniac, the series is done. It was goddamn fucking excellent. This is Rabbit Smirking Gun Reviews saying have a great Wednesday, and we will see you on the next video. Bye.